The giant metal station hung in space like a silver wheel spinning slowly among the stars. Kepler Prime was the meeting place for the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Today, 12 different alien races had come together for an important discussion. The meeting room was huge, with chairs and breathing equipment made for all kinds of strange creatures. Quan Dai Ho sat in his simple human chair, looking much smaller than the other representatives. His black hair was neat and he wore a plain blue uniform with Earth symbol on it. Next to him sat So Min, a woman with sharp eyes who watched everything carefully. She had files and data tablets stacked on the table in front of her. Across from them sat Telvor, a lizard-like creature with green scales and yellow eyes. He was tall, maybe 3 meters, and his claws tapped on the metal table. His people, the Saurians, were known for taking over other planets and making them into colonies. They built huge armies and powerful weapons. Near the window floated Whispera, who looked like she was made of light itself. She glowed with soft blue energy and spoke in a voice that sounded like wind chimes. Her people, the Luminari, could control energy and had technology that seemed like magic to most other races. The meeting had been going on for hours. Representatives from the Krillian Empire, the Void Hunters, the Crystal Collective, and 8 other civilizations filled the room. They all had one thing in common today. They were all confused about Earth. Tylvor stood up, his chair scraping against the floor. His voice was deep and rough when he spoke. We have been talking around this problem for too long. It is time to ask the real question. He pointed one clawed finger at Deho. How is your planet still free? The room became quiet. Everyone turned to look at the human representative. Deho did not move. He kept his hands folded on the table and waited. Look at the facts, Talvor continued. Every civilization in this room has learned the same lesson. If you want to keep your homeworld safe, you build defenses. Big ones. He gestured to a holographic display that appeared above the table. It showed different planets surrounded by metal rings, weapon stations, and patrol ships. The Krillians have 47 battle stations around their homeworld, he said. The display showed a planet covered in a web of metal structures. The Void Hunters moved their planet through different dimensions to hide it. The image changed to show a world that seemed to flicker in and out of existence. My own people built a shell around our sun to power our defense grid. The display now showed a star covered in metal plates with energy beams shooting out in all directions. Even the peaceful Luminari have energy barriers that can stop entire fleets. Whispera's glow became brighter. Our barriers took us 3,000 years to build. The energy requirements are enormous. Telvor nodded and then pointed at the next image. It showed a small blue and green planet with white clouds. Earth looked tiny and defenseless next to the other worlds. But Earth has nothing. No orbital weapons, no energy shields, no hidden bases, no patrol fleets, nothing. The Crystal Collective's representative, a being made of living rock, spoke in a voice like grinding stones. Our deep space scanners show the same thing. Earth's space around it is empty. A few small space stations for communication, some satellites for watching weather. That is all. An insect-like creature from the hive mind clicked its mandibles. It makes no sense. Every species learns this lesson when they first meet hostile aliens. Build defenses or die. Humans have known about us for 300 years. Why have they not built anything? Deho finally spoke. His voice was calm and quiet. Maybe we have learned a different lesson. Telvor's eyes narrowed. What lesson could be more important than protecting your home? That building big walls sometimes makes people want to break them down. The room erupted in noise. Several representatives started talking at once. The Saurian general slammed his fist on the table. Are you saying you trust the galaxy to leave you alone out of kindness? I am saying that we are still here, and we are still free. A creature that looked like a walking tree spoke in a slow, deep voice. The humans must have hidden weapons. Secret technology. Our sensors cannot detect everything. So Min opened one of her files. Our military budget is public information. We spend less on defense than most single cities on other worlds spend on police. This made the noise in the room even louder. The representative from the machine collective, a robot with glowing red eyes, spoke in an electronic voice. Impossible. Our calculations show that any undefended world would be conquered within 50 years of contact with galactic civilization. Earth has been known for 300 years. Your calculations assume that someone would try to conquer us, Deho said. Telvor stood up again. His yellow eyes were angry now. Of course someone would try. There are dozens of expansion-minded species in this galaxy. Pirates, slavers, resource hunters. Why has no one attacked your defenseless world? Who says no one has tried? The room went completely silent. Even Whisperah's glow dimmed as she focused on the human. Telvor's voice dropped to almost a whisper. What do you mean? Deho looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each representative. You all assume that because Earth looks undefended, it must be undefended. You assume that because we have not built the same defenses as everyone else, we have no defenses at all. You assume that because no one talks about attacking Earth, no one has ever tried. He stood up slowly. Even standing, he was shorter than most of the other beings in the room, but something in his voice made them all listen. 20 years ago, the Krex hegemony decided Earth would be easy prey. They brought 500 warships to our solar system. They had planet-cracking weapons and 1 million soldiers ready for invasion. They thought exactly like all of you. They saw an undefended world and decided to take it. The silence stretched on. Finally, the machine collective's robot spoke. We have no records of this conflict, no reports of any battle in your solar system. Of course you don't, So Min said, with a small smile. Because there was no battle. Telvor's claws extended slightly. Are you claiming you destroyed a hegemony fleet without fighting? I am not claiming anything, Deho said. I am offering to tell you exactly what happened. But first I want each of you to think about something. In all your military planning, all your strategic thinking, all your preparations for war, have any of you ever asked yourselves the real question? Which is? Whisper asked, her voice like a soft song. Deho smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. The question is not why Earth appears undefended. The question is why, in a galaxy full of aggressive civilizations, expansion-minded empires, and resource-hungry species, absolutely no one talks about conquering Earth anymore. He sat back down and folded his hands again. You are welcome to try, of course. But first, let me tell you a story about what happened to the last species that underestimated us. Let me tell you about the day the Krex hegemony learned why Earth does not need walls. 20 years earlier, the command center deep under the mountains of Korea buzzed with quiet activity. Park Ji-woo stood in front of the main display screen, watching red dots move through space toward Earth. Each dot represented a Krex warship, and there were 500 of them. Sir, called Lee Hae-jin from her station. She was young, maybe 25, with short black hair and glasses that reflected the glow from her computer screens. The Krex fleet will reach the outer edge of our solar system in 6 hours. Park Ji-woo nodded. He was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had been preparing for this day for 15 years, ever since humans first learned that other species in the galaxy saw Earth as weak prey. Status report on their fleet composition? 500 ships total, reported Na Sung-ho from across the room. He was the director of the Global Defense Initiative, a secret organization that most humans did not even know existed. 200 heavy cruisers with planet-cracking weapons, 150 troop carriers holding about 1 million Krex soldiers. The rest are support vessels and supply ships. On the main screen, the Krex fleet looked like a moving wall of destruction. The ships were dark and angular, covered in spikes and weapon ports. They had been traveling for months from the Krex homeworld, confident that Earth would surrender as soon as they arrived. Have they sent any messages? Ji-woo asked. Hae-jin checked her communications panel. The same demand they sent last week, complete surrender of Earth to the Krex hegemony, all humans to be relocated to work colonies, all resources to be turned over to Krex control. And our response? We told them we needed time to consider their generous offer. Ji-woo almost smiled. The Krex had given them exactly what they needed. Time to prepare. But not in the way the insect-like aliens expected. In space, the Krex fleet moved through the darkness between stars. On the command ship, Krexthul studied the readings from his sensors. He was a large insect, standing 2 meters, tall on 6 legs. His body was covered in black chitin armor, and his compound eyes could see in many different spectrums of light. Report. He clicked in the Krex language, which sounded like insects buzzing. The human homeworld shows no change in defensive posture, reported his intelligence officer. No new orbital stations, no energy shields powering up, no fleet movements. They appear to be doing nothing. Krexthul's mandibles clicked together in what humans would recognize as satisfaction. As expected, the humans are a young species. They have not learned the realities of galactic politics yet. Should we begin orbital bombardment as soon as we arrive? No. First, we destroy any space-based infrastructure. Then we broadcast a final surrender demand. When they refuse, we crack their planet until they submit. The process should take no more than a day or 2. What Krexthul did not know was that every communication his fleet had sent over the past month had been carefully analyzed by human computers. Every sensor scan, every routine system check, every casual message between ships had been intercepted and decoded. Back on Earth, Hyajin pulled up a new display. Sir, we have complete information on their fleet network architecture. Every ship is running the same basic operating system. They all use the same communication protocols, and best of all, they are all connected to each other through quantum entanglement links. Na Sung-ho walked over to look at her screen. Which means if we can get access to one ship, we can access all of them, Hyejin finished. But we already have access. We have had access for 3 years. Jiwoo turned away from the main display. Explain. 3 years ago, the Krex bought communication equipment from a human company. The equipment was perfectly functional and exactly what they ordered. What they did not know was that we put small programs inside the software. These programs have been copying themselves through the Krex computer networks ever since. She brought up another screen showing a map of Krex space. Hundreds of planets were marked in red. We now have access to their entire civilian communication grid, their military networks, their government systems, even their entertainment broadcasts. Now, Sung-ho stared at the display. You mean we can read their mail? We can do much more than that, Hyejin said with a grin. We can write their mail. We can change their bank records. We can turn off their power grids. We can make their traffic lights change colors randomly if we want to. In space, the Krex fleet had no idea that their every move was being watched by humans who knew their technology better than they did. The fleet continued its approach to Earth, confident and ready for an easy victory. 6 hours later, the Krex ships reached the edge of the solar system. Krexthul stood on the bridge of his command ship, looking at the small blue planet that would soon belong to the hegemony. Begin long-range sensor sweeps, he ordered. I want to know the location of every human satellite, every space station, every ship. His sensor officer worked at his station for several minutes, then looked up with confusion in his compound eyes. Sir, I'm getting strange readings. What kind of strange readings? The sensors are working, but the data keeps changing. One moment they show Earth has 50 satellites. The next moment they show 500. Then 5. The readings are not consistent. Krexthul clicked his mandibles in annoyance. Run a diagnostic on the sensor array. I have run 3 diagnostics. The sensors are functioning perfectly. The problem appears to be with the data we are receiving. On Earth, Hyejin watched the Krex fleet struggle with their sensor readings. They are trying to scan our defenses, but we are feeding false information directly into their sensors. They cannot tell what is real and what is fake. Jiwoo nodded. What about their weapons? Also compromised. We have access to their targeting, computers, their firing controls, even their ammunition storage systems. And their communications? Every message they send goes through our systems first. We can read everything, change anything, or block it completely. In space, Krexthul was getting more frustrated by the minute. Why can I not get accurate sensor readings? Why are our communications with the homeworld being delayed? His communication officer looked nervous. Sir, I believe there may be some kind of interference in this solar system. Natural radiation from the star, perhaps. Then use backup systems. All backup systems are showing the same problems. What the Krex did not understand was that humans had spent decades studying every piece of alien technology they could get their hands on. Every trade deal, every cultural exchange, every diplomatic meeting had been an opportunity to learn how alien computers worked. And once humans understood how something worked, they could find ways to control it. "Sir," called out the Krex navigation officer, "I am showing problems with our fleet coordination. Ships are reporting different positions than what our sensors show." "What do you mean?" "Ship 247 reports they are in position Delta 7, but our sensors show them in position Alpha 2. Ship 198 says they are ready to begin bombardment, but they appear to be facing the wrong direction." Krexthul felt the first touch of real concern. "Are you telling me we cannot tell where our own ships are?" "I am telling you that every system is giving us different information. Navigation, sensors, communications, even life support monitoring. Nothing matches." On Earth, Park Ji-woo watched the Krex fleet struggle with systems that no longer obeyed their commands. Status report on fleet confusion levels? 80% of their ships are reporting system malfunctions, Na Sung-ho reported. Their fleet coordination is completely broken. Ships are unable to maintain formation or communicate reliably with each other. Weapon systems. Offline on 60% of their ships. The others are online but cannot target accurately because their sensors are feeding them false data. Hyojin looked up from her station. "Sir, we could end this right now. We have access to their life support systems. We could turn off their air recycling and force them to surrender without killing anyone." Ji-woo considered this. "No, that would reveal too much about our capabilities. Better to let them think this is just technical failures. How long before they realize what is really happening? At their current rate of diagnosis, probably never. They are assuming this is natural interference from our solar system. They have no reason to suspect that humans could penetrate their military networks." In space, Krexthul faced a choice. His fleet was blind, confused, and unable to coordinate any kind of attack. Half his weapons were offline, and his ships could barely tell where they were, let alone where Earth was. "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, "we are receiving a message from the human planet." "Put it on the main screen." The face of Park Ji-woo appeared on the Krex command bridge. He looked calm and friendly, like someone greeting visitors to his home. "Greetings, Krexthul. I am Park Ji-woo, representing Earth's Defense Forces. I understand you are having some technical difficulties with your fleet." Krexthul's mandibles clicked angrily. "Human, your solar system's radiation is interfering with our ships. We demand you provide safe harbor until we can make repairs." Ji-woo smiled. "Oh, that is not radiation from our sun. That is us. We have been interfering with your system since you entered our space." "Impossible. Humans do not have the technology to penetrate Krex military networks." "You are right," Ji-woo agreed. "We did not have that technology 20 years ago, but we learned." In the detention center aboard the human space station, Krexthul sat in a chair designed for insect-like beings. His black chitin armor was unmarked, but his compound eyes showed confusion and anger. Across from him sat Kim Min-ho, a human psychologist, who specialized in alien behavior. "You cannot hold me prisoner," Krexthul clicked. "The Galactic Accords state that military commanders must be treated according to their rank." Kim Min-ho was a thin man with kind eyes and a gentle voice. He poured himself tea from a small pot and offered some to the Krex commander. "You are not a prisoner. You are a guest. Your ships are free to leave at any time." "My ships cannot leave. You have disabled our navigation systems." "We have disabled nothing. Your systems work perfectly. We simply know how to use them better than you do." Min-ho sipped his tea calmly. "But let me ask you something. Why did you come to Earth?" "To claim it for the hegemony. Earth has resources we need, and no defenses to stop us." "And where did you get the information that Earth had no defenses?" Krexthul's mandibles clicked impatiently. "From the same sources everyone uses. Galactic survey reports, trade data, Diplomatic observations. Your planet shows no orbital weapons, no energy, barriers, no fleet patrols. Minho nodded. All true. We have none of those things. So tell me, what defenses were you expecting to face today? None. That is why we came. But you faced defenses anyway. How do you explain that? The Krex commander shifted in his chair. This human was asking questions that made his head hurt. Your species has hidden weapons, secret technology that our sensors cannot detect. Also wrong. Minho stood up and walked to a wall display. Let me show you something interesting. The screen showed a map of the galaxy with different species marked in different colors. This is what most species do when they want to protect their homeworld. They build bigger guns, stronger shields, more ships. They try to make themselves too dangerous to attack. He touched a control, and the display zoomed in on various worlds surrounded by defensive structures. But humans learned something different. We learned that the best defense is not making yourself too dangerous to attack. The best defense is making yourself too valuable to lose. Krexthul stared at the display. What do you mean? The door opened, and Yoon Soo-jin walked in. She was a small woman with short hair and bright eyes. She carried a tablet computer and smiled politely at the Krex commander. Commander Krexthul, she said, I am Yoon Soo-jin. I run Earth's cultural exchange program. We have met before, actually. Impossible, I have never been to Earth. No, but I have been to your homeworld. Several times. She sat down and activated her tablet. I spent 2 years on Krexthul as a cultural ambassador. Beautiful planet. I particularly enjoyed the singing crystal forests in the northern continent. The Krex commander's eyes widened. Very few off-worlders knew about the crystal forests. They were considered a sacred place by his people. While I was there, Soo-jin continued, I learned your language, studied your history, observed your social customs. I also made many friends among your people. She showed him the tablet screen. It displayed images of her with various Krex individuals in different locations on their homeworld. I was not the only human cultural ambassador to your world. We sent 12 others over the past 15 years. They all learned about your society, your technology, your military structure, and your psychology. Krexthul clicked his mandibles nervously. Cultural ambassadors are not spies. Of course not, Soo-jin agreed. They were there to build friendship between our species. But friendship requires understanding, and understanding requires learning. Minho returned to his chair. Tell me, Commander, what do you know about human entertainment? Very little. We do not consume alien cultural products. Are you sure about that? Soo-jin touched her tablet again. What about the movie Warriors of the HFY Void? It was very popular on your homeworld last year. The Krex commander shifted uncomfortably. I may have seen it once. What about the music of the band Stellar Harmony? Their songs are played on Krex radio stations daily. Perhaps? Or the video game Galaxy Builder? It is the most popular game among young Krex citizens. Krexthul did not answer, but his body language told them everything. Soo-jin smiled. All of these were created by humans. Not just for humans, but specifically for Krex audiences. We studied your psychology, your preferences, your cultural values. Then we created entertainment that would appeal to your people. Why would you do that? Because entertainment shapes minds, Minho explained. The movies, music, and games your people enjoy teach them about human values. They show cooperation instead of conquest. They promote understanding instead of conflict. They make the idea of war seem less appealing. The door opened again, and Choi Taekyung entered. He was an older man with gray hair and serious eyes. He wore the uniform of Earth's Strategic Planning Division. Commander, he said with a slight bow, I am Director Choi. I apologize for the delay. We have been monitoring the situation on your homeworld. What situation? Choi activated a wall screen that showed news broadcasts from the Krex homeworld. The alien newscasters were speaking in the clicking language of the Krex, but human subtitles appeared at the bottom. Anti-war protests in the capital city, Choi read. Citizens demanding the return of the fleet, political opposition calling. The Earth invasion a waste of resources. Krexthul stared at the screen in shock. This is impossible. My people support the expansion of the hegemony. Some do, Choi agreed. But 15 years of human cultural influence has changed many minds. Your people have been consuming our entertainment, our philosophy, our ideas about cooperation and peace. Many of them no longer believe that conquest is the answer to the hegemony's problems. Another news broadcast appeared. Economic advisors, warning that the cost of the Earth invasion will bankrupt 3 colonies. Military families protesting the deployment of their sons to a distant war. You see, Minho explained, while you were planning to invade us, we were already fighting. A different kind of war. Not with weapons, but with ideas. We have been slowly changing your society's attitude toward aggression. Sujin showed the tablet to the Krex commander again. This time it displayed survey data from his homeworld. Support for military expansion has dropped from 78% to 34% over the past decade. Support for peaceful trade and cultural exchange has risen to 67%. This is manipulation, Krexthul clicked angrily. This is education, Minho corrected. We simply showed your people an alternative to constant warfare. Many of them decided they preferred peace. Choi sat down across from the Krex commander. But cultural influence was only part of our strategy. The real question, Commander, is what happens to your hegemony if this fleet never returns home? What do you mean? Your fleet represents 60% of the hegemony's military strength. The ships, the weapons, the trained soldiers, all of it is here, in our solar system, under our control. A new image appeared on the screen, showing the political situation on the Krex homeworld. 3 different noble houses are already positioning themselves to take control of the government in case this fleet is lost. Your colonies are calculating whether they should remain loyal or declare independence. Krexthul felt something he had never experienced before: helplessness. You are threatening to destroy my fleet. We are doing no such thing, Choi said calmly. Your fleet is completely unharmed. Every ship, every soldier, every piece of equipment is in perfect condition. We could release control of your systems right now and let you go home. Then why do you not? Because we want you to understand something first. Earth does not need orbital weapons or energy shields. We do not need fleets of warships or asteroid fortresses. Minho leaned forward. We have something much more powerful. We have information. We know your technology, your psychology, your politics, your economy, your social structure. We know your species better than you know yourselves, Sujin added. And we are not unique in this regard. We have cultural ambassadors on 47 different worlds. We have trade relationships with 63 species. We have been learning about everyone for decades. Choi activated one final display. It showed a complex web of connections between Earth and hundreds of other worlds throughout the galaxy. This is Earth's real defense network, not weapons pointed at the sky, but knowledge flowing in all directions. Every species that trades with us, shares technology with us, or exchanges cultural products with us teaches us how to protect ourselves from them, and in return we make ourselves valuable to them. We become their trade partners, their entertainment providers, their diplomatic mediators. Krexthul stared at the display. The web of connections was enormous, touching nearly every major civilization in the galaxy. So here is your choice, Commander, Choi said. You can return home with your fleet intact and recommend that the hegemony establish peaceful relations with Earth. You can become our trading partners and cultural allies. Or, Krexthul asked, or you can continue trying to conquer us, in which case we will demonstrate to your people and your government exactly how much we know about your society and your technology. We will show them how easily we can disrupt your communications, your economy, and your So-Min stood up and walked to the window that showed the stars outside. Earth looks undefended because traditional defense. Back in the meeting room on Kepler Prime, Quan Deho finished his story about the Krex fleet. The alien representatives sat in stunned silence. Some stared at the table, others looked out at the stars, all of them thinking about what they had just heard. Telvor was the first to speak. His voice was quieter now, less aggressive than before. You claim to have defeated a hegemony fleet without firing a shot, without destroying a single ship. We did not claim it, Soman said. We did it. The Krex fleet returned home intact, and the hegemony signed a trade agreement with Earth 6 months later. They are now one of our closest allies. Whispra's glow pulsed slowly, which meant she was thinking hard. But how could you penetrate their military system so easily? Krex technology is advanced. Their security protocols are strong. Their technology is advanced, Deho agreed. But it is not human technology, and we have had a long time to study it. A new hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed a woman with silver hair and sharp eyes standing in what looked like Earth's command center. The other representatives recognized her as Zhang Bora, Earth's Director of Galactic Intelligence. Greetings, representatives, she said with a polite bow. I apologize for not being present in person, but I am currently coordinating several operations from Earth. The Machine Collective's robot representative leaned forward, red lights glowing brighter in its optical sensors. We were not told that Earth Intelligence Services would be participating in this meeting. You were not told many things, Bora replied smoothly. For example, you were not told that we have been monitoring your secure communications for the past 7 years. The room erupted in angry voices. Several representatives stood up, some reaching for weapons or communication devices. Peace, Deho said, raising his hand. Director Zhang is not here to threaten anyone. She is here to educate you. Educate us about what? Demanded the Crystal Collective representative. Bora smiled. About how defense really works in the modern galaxy. She gestured, and the holographic display changed to show a 3-dimensional map of local space. Hundreds of worlds were connected by glowing lines representing trade routes, communication networks, and diplomatic relationships. This is what most species see when they look at galactic civilization, she explained. Separate worlds, separate governments, separate defense systems, each species trying to protect itself from all the others. The display zoomed in on different planets, showing their massive defensive installations. Orbital weapons, energy shields, patrol fleets, all designed to keep invaders away. But this is what humans see. The display changed, and suddenly the connections between worlds became much more complex. Instead of simple trade routes, there were thousands of thin threads linking every planet to every other planet. Communication networks, technology sharing, cultural exchanges, economic dependencies. Every time two species trade with each other, they create a connection, Bora continued. Every time they share technology, they create vulnerability. Every time they exchange cultural products, they open a door. Talvor stared at the display. Are you saying that galactic civilization itself is a weapon? I am saying that galactic civilization is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for different purposes. Another hologram appeared, showing Lim Junseo, head of human technological integration. He was a young man with thick glasses and several computer tablets in his hands. Allow me to demonstrate, Junseo said. Representative Talvor, your personal communication device. It was manufactured by the Centauri Industrial Collective, correct? Talvor looked down at the small device attached to his armor. Yes, it is standard equipment for all Saurian diplomatic personnel. And it runs on the Galactic Standard Communication Protocol, which allows you to send messages to any world in the galaxy. Obviously. What you may not know is that the Galactic Standard Communication Protocol was designed by humans. We created it 20 years ago and offered it freely to all species as a gift to promote peace and understanding. The Saurian representative's yellow eyes narrowed. You are lying. Junseo shrugged. Check your historical records. The protocol was introduced by the Earth Diplomatic Service in 2293. It was presented as a way to improve communication between species and reduce misunderstandings that might lead to war. Whispra's voice was like wind through crystal. I remember this. The humans said they wanted to help create better understanding between species. We did want that, Deho said. But we also built other features into the protocol. Features that most species never noticed. Bora gestured again, and the display showed data flowing through the galactic communication network. Every message sent using our protocol passes through human-controlled relay stations. We can read everything, copy everything, modify everything, or block everything. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Finally, the Void Hunter representative spoke in its hollow, echoing voice. "You have been spying on the entire galaxy." "We have been protecting ourselves," Somin corrected, "by understanding the threats we face." Junseo pulled up another display. "But communication protocols are just the beginning. Talvor, your ship's navigation computer, where was the software created?" "The software is Saurian military technology, developed by our finest programmers. The base code is Saurian, but it uses mathematical algorithms for faster-than-light navigation that were developed by humans and shared freely with all species." Talvor stood up, his claws extending. "You compromised our military navigation systems?" "We improved them," Junseo said calmly. "Our algorithms are 23% more efficient than the previous galactic standard. They save fuel, reduce travel time, and improve safety. But they also include features that you never requested," Bora added. "Features that allow us to track every ship using our navigation protocols. Features that let us modify flight paths if necessary. Features that can disable faster-than-light drives remotely." The machine representative's voice was flat and electronic. "You have backdoor access to every ship in the galaxy." "Not every ship," Junseo admitted. "Some species developed their own navigation systems, but approximately 73% of all galactic shipping uses human navigation algorithms." Whispra dimmed to almost nothing, which meant she was experiencing strong emotion. "The energy management systems for our planetary barriers. You designed those too." "The basic concept was yours," Bora said respectfully, "but we helped optimize the power distribution algorithms, made them more efficient, more stable, and gave yourselves the ability to shut them down, only in extreme circumstances." The Crystal Collective representative spoke in its grinding stone voice. "How much of galactic technology contains human code?" Bora gestured, and the display showed a breakdown of technology usage across different species. The numbers were staggering. Communication systems, 91% human influence. Navigation, 73% human code. Power management, 58% human algorithms. Manufacturing, 67% human optimization protocols. "You have infected the entire galaxy with your technology," the Void Hunter accused. "We have integrated ourselves into galactic civilization," Deho replied. "The same way every other species has, through trade, cooperation, and mutual benefit, but with hidden purposes. With protective purposes. We learned long ago that the best way to avoid being conquered is to make conquest impossible." Bora brought up a new display showing Earth's position in the galactic economy. Earth provides 34% of all entertainment consumed in the galaxy. We handle 28% of all interstellar banking transactions. We mediate 41% of all diplomatic disputes between species. We have made ourselves indispensable, Somin explained. Attack Earth and the galactic economy collapses, destroy our communication networks, and half the galaxy loses the ability to talk to the other half. Remove our navigation systems and interstellar travel becomes 25% less efficient. Talvor sat back down, his anger replaced by something that looked like fear. "You have turned the entire galaxy into your defense system." "We have turned the galaxy into a community," Deho corrected. "A community where everyone benefits from peace and cooperation. A community where attacking one member hurts everyone." Junseo pulled up data about various species' dependencies on Earth technology. "The Krex hegemony uses our algorithms for food distribution on 12 colonies. Disable those algorithms and millions of Krex citizens face starvation. The luminary energy barriers require constant updates to our power management code. Without those updates, the barriers fail within 6 months. The Saurian military relies on our communication protocols to coordinate fleet movements across 37 star systems. Bora smiled. Do you understand now? We do not need weapons pointed at the sky because we have something much better. We have made ourselves part of everyone else's infrastructure. The machine collective representative processed this information for several seconds before speaking. This is the most sophisticated defense strategy we have ever encountered. It is not just a defense strategy, Whispera said, her glow returning to normal levels. It is a transformation of the nature of warfare itself. Exactly, Deho said. Traditional warfare assumes that enemies want to destroy each other. But what if you can make your enemies not want to be your enemies anymore? What if you can make them need you to survive? The silence in the meeting room stretched on for several minutes. Each alien representative was lost in thought, processing the implications of what they had learned. Finally, Somin stood up and walked to the center of the room. There is one more thing you need to understand, she said quietly. Everything we have told you so far is only part of the truth. Tylvor looked up sharply. What do you mean? I mean that Director Zhang showed you our defensive capabilities. Director Jun showed you our technological integration, but they did not show you the real reason why no one attacks Earth. A new hologram appeared in the room. This one showed Han Wujin, an elderly man with white hair and gentle eyes. He wore simple clothes and sat in what looked like a garden on Earth. Greetings, friends, he said with a warm smile. I am Han Wujin, Director of Earth's long-term strategic planning. I have been waiting many years for this conversation. The Crystal Collective representative made a sound like grinding rocks. How many human officials are going to appear in this meeting? As many as necessary, Somin replied. Director Han has something important to show you. Han gestured, and the display changed to show a timeline stretching back hundreds of years. When humans first learned that other species existed in the galaxy, we faced the same choice that every young civilization faces: build weapons to protect ourselves or find another way to survive. We chose another way, but not the way you think. The timeline showed various events in human history. First contact with aliens, the development of space travel, the establishment of trade relationships, cultural exchanges, technological sharing. Most species assume that humans are naturally peaceful, that we chose cooperation over conflict because we dislike violence. Han chuckled softly. This is not true. Humans are actually quite violent by galactic standards. We have been fighting wars for thousands of years. Then why did you choose peace? Whispera asked. Because we realized that peace is more profitable than war. The display changed to show economic data comparing different approaches to interstellar relations. A species that conquers other worlds gains resources and territory, but a species that trades with other worlds gains resources, territory, technology, knowledge, and allies. War gives you what your enemies have. Trade gives you what your enemies have plus what their friends have plus what their friends' friends have. Tylvor clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. But trade requires trust, and trust can be broken. Exactly, Han agreed, which is why we did not rely on trust. We relied on necessity. The display showed the complex web of human technological influence throughout the galaxy. We did not just make ourselves useful to other species. We made ourselves essential. But even that was not enough. Being essential means that losing you is painful. It does not mean that people will not hurt you if they are angry enough or desperate enough. So Min walked back to her seat. So we added one more layer to our defense strategy. We made attacking Earth not just unprofitable and difficult, we made it literally impossible. What do you mean by impossible? The machine collective asked. Han smiled. Representative, where is your homeworld? Designation Core Prime. Located in the Zirian system. And how do your people survive on that world? We are artificial beings. We require energy to function, raw materials for repairs and data networks for communication, all of which come from other worlds in your network. Correct. What would happen to your people if those supply lines were cut? The robot was silent, for a moment, processing the implications. We would cease to function within one solar cycle. And what controls those supply lines? Another pause. Primarily automated systems using human navigation and logistics algorithms. So if humans disappeared tomorrow, how long would your civilization survive? The machine collective representative did not answer. Han turned to Whispera. Your people live on pure energy, drawn from your star through massive collection arrays. What controls those arrays? Whispera's glow flickered. The energy management systems we discussed earlier, which include human code. And without constant updates to that code, the arrays would become unstable. Our star's output would overwhelm our collection systems. How long would your people have? Perhaps 6 months. Han nodded and looked at Telvor. Your people have expanded to dozens of worlds, but your original homeworld is overcrowded. You import food from agricultural colonies to feed your population. What coordinates that food distribution? Telvor's claws dug into the metal table. Human logistics systems. How many Saurians live on the homeworld? 12 billion. How many would survive if food shipments stopped? The Saurian military commander said nothing. Han looked around the room at each representative. This is the truth that my colleagues did not want to tell you directly. You cannot attack Earth because you cannot afford to lose Earth. Not economically, not politically, not even biologically. We have not just integrated ourselves into your technology and your economy. We have integrated ourselves into your survival. The display showed data for every major species in the galaxy. Food distribution systems, 67% dependent on human logistics. Energy management, 58% using human algorithms. Life support systems, 43% running human code. Transportation networks, 71% relying on human navigation. Attack Earth and your people starve. Destroy our infrastructure and your cities lose power. Remove our systems and your ships become lost in space. Somin leaned forward. Do you understand? Now, we do not appear undefended because we are naive or trusting or peaceful by nature. We appear undefended because attacking us is suicide. Any species that destroys Earth destroys itself. The Void Hunter representative spoke in its hollow voice. This is not defense. This is control. This is symbiosis, Han corrected gently. Every species in this room benefits from their relationship with humanity. Your people live longer, healthier, more prosperous lives because of human technology and human trade. We have not conquered anyone. We have not enslaved anyone. We have not forced anyone to use our systems. We simply made ourselves so useful that you chose to become dependent on us. Telvor stood up suddenly, knocking over his chair. You have trapped us all, made us prisoners in our own civilizations. Have we? Somin asked calmly. Are your people suffering? Are they oppressed? Are they unhappy? No, but are they healthier than they were before they met humans? Yes, but are they wealthier? Do they have access to better technology, better entertainment, better medicine? Talvor sat back down heavily. Yes. Then how are they prisoners? Han gestured, and the display showed quality of life statistics for all the major galactic civilizations. Average lifespan has increased by 23% since species began using human technology. Poverty has decreased by 34%. Interstellar conflicts have dropped by 67%. We have not made the galaxy weaker. We have made it stronger. We have not reduced freedom. We have increased prosperity. But you have eliminated choice, Whispera said. We cannot choose to be your enemies because doing so would destroy us. You can still choose, Somin replied. But now you understand the consequences of your choices. Before, species could attack each other because they did not understand the connections between them. They thought they were independent, self-sufficient, able to survive on their own. We have shown you the truth, that every civilization in the galaxy is connected to every other civilization, that harming one species ultimately harms all species. Han stood up slowly, using a walking stick to support himself. My friends, let Me tell you the greatest secret of human defense strategy. We did not set out to control the galaxy. We set out to save it. When we first learned about interstellar civilization, we saw what we recognized from our own history: constant warfare, species fighting over resources and territory, civilizations rising and falling in endless cycles of conquest and destruction. We realized that if this continued, eventually someone would develop weapons powerful enough to destroy entire star systems, or someone would make a mistake that would cascade into galactic destruction. The display showed projections of galactic civilization under different development paths. War-focused development led to a 73% probability of galactic collapse within 500 years. Trade-focused development led to stable growth for millennia. So we made a choice. We would use our integration into galactic society not just to protect Earth, but to protect everyone. Every human technology we shared was designed to make war less profitable and peace more attractive. Every algorithm we distributed included features that made cooperation easier and conflict harder. Every cultural product we exported contained messages about the value of understanding and the cost of violence. So Min walked to the window again, looking out at the stars. The reason no one attacks Earth is not because we have made ourselves too dangerous to attack. It is because we have made attacking anyone too dangerous for everyone. We have turned the entire galaxy into a single interconnected organism. Hurt one part, and you hurt the whole thing. Tailvor stared at the human representatives. So when you say Earth is undefended, we mean that Earth does not need defenses, Deho finished, because the galaxy itself is our defense system. Every species protects us because they are protecting themselves. Every world that remains at peace strengthens our security.